So we're starting off with a space
vagina. Yeah. So Rebel Moon. So yeah, we watched Rebel Moon, and we're here to review it. It's been a while, folks. It's been a while.
Yes.
We have gotten busy. We're not able to do many of these episodes lately, and that's
mainly
because
my fault.
somebody decided to have a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's the way it goes in this life. But so Rebel Moon, Netflix. It's Zack Snyder's new joint, if you want to steal a Spike Lee term. So,
yeah, I like that.
I like it. I like it as well. The Rebel Moon joint.
Yes.
That's probably not the greatest term in the world, but it is what it is. So, Rebel Moon is Zack Snyder's Star Wars ripoff. I'm just going to be honest with us here. It's a Star Wars ripoff. Zack Snyder wanted to do a Star Wars movie. He was declined in that mission, and he decided to make Rebel Moon, which on the screen here, it's got the worst opening title of any movie ever. No, maybe not any movie ever, but of recent. And the CGI immediately gives us pause, to be honest. But that's going to improve through the rest of the movie. So Rebel Moon is a new Zack Snyder movie, and I'm sorry if I'm making no sense in this. I've had a lot of bourbon tonight. We had Widow Jane.
Yes.
Widow Jane bourbon, which I can recommend. It is quite good.
Unofficially
you get a couple in you,
by...
it gets better.
Yeah.
After a couple, but it is a little spicy bourbon. So we open up the movie with a farmer, Sofia Boutella's character, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know her actual name in this movie. I did not ever catch it. I am probably a god-awful reviewer for not catching that, but did you catch it?
No.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Sofia Boutella. We're going to call her that. We're going to call her Sophia. You may remember her from The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Probably not, because nobody saw that fucking movie. Sorry for the F words.
Maybe for, better role for her was
Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
Yeah, Kingsman, she was better.
Yeah.
And then we get Dario Naharis Part 2 as well in this movie. And
yes. And
surprisingly,
Part 1.
Dario Naharis Part 1. Ed Skrein also in this movie. So, plot-wise, this movie, I don't feel like it has a significant setup other than, a farming planet is minding their own business, and all of a sudden a outside influence comes in, and it is a fascist Nazi regime that rules the galaxy, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
An empire.
We're going to go with it.
Yeah.
The empire. Yeah. Yes, the empire.
Empirical presence.
Empirical presence. And Ed Skrein is the admiral of this. These folks, and they come down and demand that Corey Stoll is the leader of this farming community where Sofia Boutella is living at this point. We don't get a lot of background.
They're kind of like a cross between, Viking and
Sofia Boutella's community. Yeah, it's
the
Irish Vikings.
Yeah,
that's the best they can do because they call it the Longhouse and things like that. Very Viking type society.
And I think that kind of sums up this movie a little bit. It's a mishmash of lots of different things coming together in one movie, and Snyder's showing that in just this little village.
Yeah,
it's a mishmash of Irish, Viking, and then outsiders coming in. So
yeah, you got that right.
Yeah,
certainly is what it is. So there's a lot of setup at the first of the movie about people who want to marry Sofia Boutella's character and things like that. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. The first, I'd say, half hour of the movie is pretty pointless. But ultimately, Ed Skrein and the kingdom of Assholia, I don't know what the name is, lands on the planet and demands that they provide their harvest. And Corey Stoll, who you may recognize from Ant-Man as the bad guy in Ant-Man, the yellow jacket, plays that in Ant-Man. He plays MODOK in Ant-Man and Quantumania, which is a terrible movie, to be honest. He's the leader of it, and he he kind of negotiates with Ed Skrein, the Admiral character, to say that they don't have any extra crops. They only do what they can to kind of support themselves. And Dario Naharis Part 2, whose name I can't remember. That's the thing. There's no character set.
Number 1, number 2 is good.
Yeah.
I like that designation for these characters.
We're going to use that because Dario Naharis Part 2 from Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, Dario Naharis was played by Ed Skrein in one season and then replaced by this other guy whose name I can't remember in a second season, and they're both in this movie. So we thought maybe we'll get the Dario Naharis showdown in this movie. So ultimately,
they kind of teased it in the beginning.
The fascist Nazi regime lands on this planet and says, "Hey, we want to take your crops. Whether you can survive or not, we don't care. We're going to take 10,000 bushels. The planet produces 12,000 bushels. Sorry, I get the hiccups.
Which, honestly, if Zack Snyder wouldn't run like slow motion, they'd probably be able to get 36 instead of 12.
Yeah. So, they certainly could.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Little side note.
It's okay. So these guys come in, they say that, and they kill Corey Stoll's character, the leader of this farming community, and say that they're going to provide 10,000 bushels of crops to them because, basically. They don't really give any reason. They leave a small, 8 or 10 guys there and a robot that there's not... This is where I run into problems with this movie. There's not a setup for who the robot is, but he's played by Anthony Hopkins, who's also the narrator of this movie. But the robot apparently doesn't fight anymore since the king died. The slain king, that's what they say. The slain king is the the people are working for in this. So they leave a contingent of 8, 10 guys maybe? Yeah. And Sofia Boutella is not fond of this idea, but they leave a small force, and the small force proceeds to be terrible to the people and start to take a young girl and do nefarious things to her, at which point Sofia Boutella fights back against them, takes them all out. The robot helps and kind of kills the main guy and runs off. And there's some issues with a young girl who's trying to get taken advantage of in the movie, making friends with the robot, but never comes back, really. The robot is kind of out of it. This is a part 1 of part 2, so obviously there'll be more to that. So Boutella essentially takes out all the fascist Nazis that are left on the planet, and she decides to go out and gather a team of fighters to help protect the planet and fight against and form a rebellion. Rebel Moon. They're a moon of a planet. They're the rebel, clearly.
It constantly shows her planting seeds.
Yeah.
She's planting the seeds of a rebellion.
Yeah, it's the seeds for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of the whole startup of this movie is just so Star Warsian.
Oh, it's definitely.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot grabbed from Star Wars, a little bit from Lord of the Rings, a little bit from Beowulf. That's why,
Vikings. They're essentially Vikings.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, a mosh pit of just picking and choosing what you want to throw in a movie.
Yeah. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So Sofia Boutella decides to leave the planet. They go to a village where they meet Charlie Hunnam's character, who is a bounty hunter. He
scoundrel.
A scoundrel, essentially the Han Solo, but not really, of this movie. So they go to this village to start recruiting people. They recruit him. He becomes a captain for them. He has a ship. And they go to recruit a number of other people to help defend this village. They recruit Djimon Hounsou, who is the what do they call him? The king, I don't know. He's one of the guys. They recruit Ray Fisher as a character. I have no names for people in this movie.
Ray Fisher, you didn't realize was Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
For like a couple, like
it's hard to tell.
Oh, hey, who's that guy?
Zoe Kravitz is also in this as like his second in command, but she doesn't go with him. They recruit this Asian lady who kills a spider that looks like the Borg Queen.
Mm-hmm.
They recruit a Native American type guy who tames a griffin, essentially, to kind of keep this. Okay, the movie's all over the place. I'm just going to be honest. The plot's pretty fucking terrible to determine.
Yeah, I mean, it's team building.
It's like, yeah.
This first half is just team building without knowing or understanding the team.
It is. It's like The Dirty Dozen or Inglourious Bastards if they wouldn't have had the team at the start of the movie and just had them.
Yeah.
It's like we're recruiting a team to win this battle, essentially, against these fascist Nazis that are like, God, it's so hard. This is so hard to explain. And I'm sorry. It's hard to explain. And that's part of the problem, I think, that most critics have with the movie. However, they recruit these guys. They end up winning. I'm just going to jump to the end. They end up winning the battle against the Admiral, who's played by Ed Skrein, a.k.a. Dorian Naharis Part 1. They end up winning the battle, and essentially that's where the movie ends. And that's where I'm going to go with the plot, because I can't explain what goes on during the middle of this movie because it's that difficult to explain.
No, I mean, it's basically a join-up movie.
It's men on a mission.
Yeah.
A.k.a. women on a mission.
Join-up movie.
Join us.
With a terrible plot to take over.
Yeah. And nobody gets...
They get lucky.
Yeah.
On their mission.
Yeah, they really do.
And, the Empire has another plan in place.
Yeah. It's
for
like
part 2.
It doesn't. So. Nothing happens in this movie. Nothing. However, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is.
That's the thing. It's fun to watch this movie. The space battles and not this like space battles, but like the ships and things like that. It's very cool to see, but there's no character building outside for any character outside of Sofia Boutella's character, who was like recruited by these fascist Nazi to be one of their warriors, and she fell in love with somebody, and the leader of the faction was like her father.
One question is, like, when you're watching a movie like this, a team-up movie, and you get close to, like, there's good team-up movies where you're like, oh, man, I really like this guy. I hope he makes it through. I don't want to see him die.
Yeah.
Or her die. This tries to, like, build up these characters to make you like them, but there's nothing there to where you're like, I want to see them make it through
it doesn't
all the way.
Yeah, it doesn't particularly build up any characters.
No.
That's the problem. I mean,
you don't fall in love with any of these characters.
Did I want to see the one guy who tamed the griffin, essentially, survive? Yeah.
That's probably your best character.
Yeah, outside of Sofia Boutella, of course.
She's pretty weak as a lead, though.
Yeah, the lead doesn't work.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you get to know her more than anybody else in the movie.
Yeah.
Outside
of... You're forced to.
That's it. There's nobody else that you get to know in the movie. There's no character building in this movie. So, essentially, you have her and her companions who you want to succeed because you like her, maybe, but you don't like anybody else because nobody else has a backstory.
Yeah.
Like the one guy who tamed the griffin, and again, I don't remember any names in this movie because they don't really tell us the names in this movie, and if they do, they're crazy names that I'm not going to remember.
Ed Skrein said the one name is...
Yeah.
We were like, what?
Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's the name, I guess.
Okay.
So, but ultimately, of course, they triumph over the evil, sort of, because they don't, because the end of the movie completely pulls all that back and says the bad guy survived, because there's a part 2 coming out. But That's the plot. Let's just go into, that's the plot. It's impossible to describe the plot of this movie. It's impossible because there isn't particularly any special plot. It's Star Wars.
It's just good triumphs over evil.
Yeah, it's Star Wars.
And evil is
different.
still around.
Yeah.
For part 2.
So, I mean, that's it. That is what it is. It has no ending, really. It has an ending where they do triumph over evil, but they don't triumph over evil, if that makes any sense, and it probably doesn't to you guys. But in any case, that's the end of the movie. But I will say, it was fun. So it was a lot of fun.
Do you, as a whole, enjoy Zack Snyder movies?
That's a loaded question, my friend.
As a whole.
I like Watchmen. I like Justice League Snyder Cut to an extent. I like Dawn of the Dead because that's his best movie by a long shot. But 300 is fun. But no, I don't think I like Zack Snyder movies all that much, to be honest.
I made a comment.
I think they're okay.
I made a comment to you during the movie. I think Zack Snyder movies are good for me when I'm cleaning my house.
Yeah.
I can put them
background music.
I can put them on in the background. They got great scores, got great sound, and it's a spectacle. But I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, it's a spectacle.
I can clean,
for sure.
I can clean my house or do a little work and just have it on in the background and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But as far as sitting down and wanting a good story,
yeah,
there's a lack there.
There is definitely a lack there.
So
for sure,
he's good. He's good cleaning sound.
So yeah, I mean, Snyder's way of doing things is not the best. I would say that it's not the best, but he makes somewhat entertaining movies.
So did he write? I didn't see it.
He was part of it. He was part of writing it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, him and somebody else wrote the movie, I believe. And, the story is he tried to sell this as a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
To make a Star Wars universe movie, but Disney or whoever rejected it. And he decided to make it on his own. And he did it. He made a Star Wars-esque movie. For sure. There's no doubt that's what this is. But it's not Star Wars.
No.
It's his own world, and I think he did an okay job of creating a world.
Yeah. But, yeah, the world, all the planets, everything that they went to is cool, which that's, it's kind of easy to do.
Yeah. They didn't go to anything special.
The hardest thing to do is character build.
Yeah, and throughout the whole movie, we were kind of like, "Oh, that's Mos Eisley Cantina. Yeah, that's this and this and this and this." It's like
constantly going back to stuff that he's picked. I mean, it wasn't just Star Wars. He picked from. Okay, you can even say the Shire.
Yeah,
was the village at the beginning.
Yeah.
With the nice rock bridge, and they're nice, and they're a farming community. I mean, he kind of picked from a bunch of different movies, and mushed it into one, mashed it together like a piece of clay, and came out with dirt.
Oh, there's no doubt, and we were kind of like, oh my God, the orcish-looking people in this movie are exactly like the orcs from Bright / Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I brought up that picture.
Yeah.
From Bright.
It's like Joe Edgerton's character in Bright.
I went back and I stopped it on that guy, one character. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, the nose was slightly different, more Lord of the Rings, but it's almost identical.
Yeah.
Like the orcs are almost identical, and they're
I'm not gonna lie, orcs. I was waiting for meat's back on the menu, boys.
If only. I would have been like, I would have been applauding at that point.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, the movie's okay. It's not terrible. It's not good.
I don't think it's as bad.
It's entertaining.
It's not as bad as what it's getting reviewed.
Yeah, it's getting savaged by the critics.
No. I think it's a middle of the road fantasy space adventure.
No doubt. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. And maybe part 2 will be better, but this one certainly leaves something to be desired.
Yeah.
And it ends. The end of it is like it's like we won, but we didn't win.
Well, it's the reverse of Empire.
Empire, yeah.
So
we won, but we didn't win.
They left. Okay, Empire. They left loot, broken, and torn.
Yep.
And destroyed at the end.
Yep.
He came back, and we know that story. This one, they left.
The bad guy.
Ed Skrein. Broken, torn, and they turn him into Darth Vader.
Yeah, essentially they did.
So,
and there's that whole side story of the person who rescued Sofia Boutella as a child is now the bad guy as the leader. So essentially he's the Darth Vader character, or somewhat the Emperor character.
So yeah, they switched the Darth Vader character with the Emperor.
Yeah.
So the Emperor, spoilers.
Yeah. Motherfuckers.
Whatever. And 3CPJO.
Yeah, the robot is honestly the most interesting character in the show.
He was in it for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah, best. And that guy, Anthony Hopkins, voices that guy. And I have no clue how they got Anthony Hopkins, but he is the most interesting character, and he's in it for a very little time.
He shows up at the end.
In deer horns. Yeah, antlers.
And, like he's... I don't know. We'll
King of the Forest.
Gonna watch part 2.
I want to see part 2, April of 2024.
Yeah.
Which is a long time, but I understand where they're going with this. I want to see part 2. So this does not fail on the front that makes me want to see part 2.
So what is it exactly about Zack Snyder films that draws us? It looks great.
You know what? I'm going to think of Sucker Punch when I talk about this, because Sucker Punch looks fantastic.
That's a pretty low blow, though.
Yeah, he wants to do like another cut of Sucker Punch. Did you see that? So, Sucker Punch.
Clearly, he wants to do a cut on everything.
Yeah.
He makes
that's
more
the
money
thing.
that
He's
way.
saying he wants to do director cut as this. It's going to be better. But shouldn't it be good? He had full control of this damn movie.
It's Netflix.
But,
you got...
When I look at Sucker Punch, here's the problem with Sucker Punch. With me, at least. I bought Sucker Punch on Blu-ray when it came out on Blu-ray. I didn't see it in the theater, but I bought it with a movie called 13 Assassins. If you want to look at 13 Assassins review, there's a review on our channel of me reviewing 13 Assassins, one of my favorite samurai movies of all time. Takashi Miike is fantastic.
Yep.
And I bought it at the same time. And I watched them both. And Sucker Punch is a real piece of shit. Sorry, kids. There's kids in the background over here.
Shiitake
mushrooms. And 13 Assassins is top-notch stuff. So, it's like, Sucker Punch has its problems, but Snyder hasn't grown up as a filmmaker. That's what I think. He's still in this, let's do slow-mo, let's do action, and that's what's going to get people in. But that's not it. We don't want that anymore. We want character building. We want drama. We want that. And he may say that's there, but it's not there in his films.
Yeah, the slow-mo has run its course.
It really has.
At this point, it's almost a joke.
It is for us.
And there's one scene where the guy that's trying to tame the griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's taming the griffin. He's riding him for a while. He gets thrown off on a cliff. and then he's running on this cliff towards the griffin to try to jump back on him, and you were like, we're about to get a slow-mo.
There is no need.
McConaughey.
We got that twice in this movie.
Yeah, we did.
The McConaughey Rain of Fire slow-mo.
Oh, my gosh. What works with Rain of Fire slow-mo is it didn't work.
It did not work. and the jump was also like 40 foot when there's no way. Ray Fisher does that in this movie. Ray Fisher's in this movie, former cyborg, now.
And I made the comment, dude, if he jumps at this ship and comes up 20 feet short, I might be pretty happy about
that. Would have been pretty funny.
Yeah. And just throws his axe.
Yeah.
And takes out something. It's fine.
Would have been great, to be honest. It would have been great.
Yeah. But, Snyder has to just take his characters and make them just superhuman.
Yeah, no, they all are. Like, Snyder took Justice League to heart, and he does not have those characters here. That's the problem. But, I think it's enough about it. It's
still a fun movie.
You're the soundtrack guy. There's not much soundtrack to this movie, and there's not much.
The score was great.
The score's fine.
It was very, very much close to. I didn't see who scored it, but I feel like it's the same guy that scored his director's cut of Justice League.
Yeah,
which he did a great job of taking.
I don't hate that.
No,
yeah.
No,
I enjoyed that.
That score was really good. From he took Hans, and made it his own, and expanded it. So I didn't see who scored it, but I feel like it's the same guy. And
Scores.
He did a good job.
Yeah, so, the score's fine. Mm-hmm. It doesn't interfere with the movie. It doesn't. It doesn't rise above to a level of like greatness, but it doesn't interfere.
The best score of this movie was during the Griffin ride.
Yeah,
and when the Griffin like swoops down and like he's like tamed and all that, that was like a really good epic part.
It's no unnecessary roughness score.
Oh god!
Da, 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 da.
Hang on for that one. We're gonna review that.
We love
for
that
sure.
movie.
Oh my god!
Indeed.
Oh,
so I mean, you know what? Let's get a rating. I think we need to get a rating on this.
Are we going to Snyder rating?
I don't feel like we should do a Snyder rating, but I almost feel like we should do a Snyder rating because, like, here's the Snyder rating.
He's had enough
Dead, Justice League
to do this.
300 Snyder. So yes, please give me your regular rating and your Snyder rating.
Okay, regular rating. I would give this maybe a 6.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Out of 100?
No. 6 is good because there's still more story to be told.
I'm with you on this.
Which is the weak part.
Yeah. Part 2 would determine the position in history of this film.
Yeah.
So 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I am a 3 out of 5, which is the same as a 6 out of 10. So I agree with the rating.
Damn it, we go out of 5, don't we? I forgot. We haven't done this in so long.
It does not matter. We're so far beyond this, and this can be a podcast as well as a YouTube video. So I agree. 3 out of 5 is the way to go. This is not. It's not great. It's not good. It's mediocre at best because it needs more. It needs more character building. It needs more story behind it. But
it's enough. It's a very mediocre space adventure.
I can't qualify it better than that.
Yeah.
It's space opera. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I want a structured settlement, and I need cash now.
Yeah.
J.G. Wentworth.
The Vikings did it in the beginning.
I'm going to cut that out. I shouldn't have done that. That was
J.G.
That was fucking stupid. So, yeah, it's a 3 out of 5. It's not terrible. It's not bad. It's not good.
Yeah, so
I
guess I'm a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, no, you're the same. We're identical on that. I thought the CG in the film was pretty good, except for maybe the first part.
The opening shot was
it's bad,
pretty rough.
It's blurry, but then from then on it got better. But yeah, 3 out of 5.
I brought up to you about a lot of Netflix movies.
Yeah,
and it might be the lenses that they use.
Yeah, there's like some blurry on that.
Right? The perimeter. We're not film specialists.
I didn't do anything.
We just watch movies and we like them or we don't.
I'm a lawyer. I fucking know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I draw buildings.
Yeah.
So, but I find a lot of the Netflix movies have this blurry outline on the perimeter.
You're right about that.
So, and I don't know if this was part of his movie or just a Netflix thing. So, but even with that opening scene still looked pretty rough.
Yeah, the opening was rough. But after that, it got better, way better.
Dude,
way better.
I will say this: the battles that they had with the laser gunfights.
Yeah.
Looked pretty epic.
Yeah, no, I can't argue there. It's fantastic after that opening.
Snyder knows how to shoot a movie.
He does.
Make it look good.
That's his biggest complaint. Story wise, not so much.
What I say to you, Snyder needs a storyteller.
Yeah.
Like Nolan needs
a sound editor.
A sound editor.
Yeah, it's so fucking true.
So
A+.
Those two need to get together and make a movie.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And Nolan just said he liked Watchmen.
They're buddies.
Which Watchmen's fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Watchmen. Okay. We're going back to the
Snyder ratings?
Snyder ratings.
Watchmen. 100. Way up here. Dawn of the Dead right below Watchmen. 300 right below that. And every fucking thing else right below that.
Yeah.
I can't abide by any of the Man of Steel stuff. You like Man of Steel more than I do.
I like Man of Steel.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
yeah, we disagree on that one.
But I like the Justice League cut.
More. I do enjoy but is it because we watched the shitty Justice League cut before we watched his? Because I think that's more why I like it more. Because Joss Whedon's Justice League cut is a pile of shit.
Oh,
it's terrible.
I don't even go back to that one.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say Snyder's Justice League, and then Man of Steel.
Yeah, I'm low on both of those.
What's after that?
Watchmen.
No.
That's number one. Right?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Watchmen's number one.
Yeah.
Below
Dawn of the Dead.
Below Justice League. Or below Man of Steel.
Below Man of Steel? Sucker Punch. Which is fucking way down there because it's terrible. Yeah.
And
all right.
Yeah, then all of his commercials.
And whatever those are. All right. So that's it for Rebel Moon. We are done with it. We've talked for about 35 minutes on that, which is way more than the movie deserves, but you should see it. You should see it.
Check out our slow-mo version.
We're going to slow this down to although I'm pretty slow-mo because I have a lot of bourbon and beer in me at this point. So, you guys, I hope you're listening. I hope you're enjoying Basement Movie Room. We have about 150 subscribers and we get pretty decent minutes, but if you want to follow us, feel free. And
comment. We would comment.
We love comments. Yes. We don't get any because there's only one guy that comments, and it's like this guy.
We want a discussion.
We like to discuss. If you like Rebel Moon more than us, and you have reasons why we should like it more, let us know. So we will leave you there. You have a good happy holidays because this is the Rebel Moon Christmas review. Yay, happy holidays, everyone, and
Merry
thanks
Christmas,
for listening.
Happy New Year, and you know what? I think that's the best review we've ever done.